Oh, yes, that win was so important, especially on a night where the Columbus Blue Jackets also pick up a W. But man, that game against the Detroit Red Wings last night was probably a little closer than it should have been. But nonetheless, it's a big W and the Habs pick up 2 points in a very tight playoff race. The Montreal Canadiens defeat the Detroit Red Wings again, but this time 3-1. That puts the record to 37, 26, and 7 on the season. Good enough to still be tied with the Columbus Blue Jackets for that last wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Yeah! Woo! Love it! Let's get right into the game here. Habs come into the first period, and initially they allow a breakaway. And Carey Price gets the save. I think it was on Rasmussen. Carey Price gets the save. Massive save for him to start the game. And then we go on further into the first period, and for the most part, the Montreal Canadiens dictated the pace. They outshoot the Detroit Red Wings, but the score remains 0-0 as we go into the second period. And about midway, or a little further into midway into the second period, Max Domi gets his 23rd on the season, a tip-in after a shot from Andrew Shaw, just getting it on net. Very smart play from Shaw there. Gets it on net, and Max Domi with the tip top. Jeez, what a slick tip for Max Domi for his 23rd on the season. Continues racking up those goals. We go on, and Brett Kulak actually ends up getting on the board just before the second period ends from a shot from the point. Just rocketed it past Jonathan Bernier, and it was real good to see Brett Kulak get up on the board because he had a fantastic first and second period after missing a few games as a healthy scratch. He played with a ton of energy. As usual, making smart plays down low in the defensive zone, getting the puck out of the zone quick, but he was also pinching in, trying to get in on the offense, so really good to see him get rewarded because he deserved that goal. He gets up on the board for the Habs' second goal of the night, and Thomas Tatar had an assist on both Habs' first goals. Yet another Montreal Canadien racking up points on pace for a career year. Gotta love it. We go into the third period, and Andreas Athanasiou, what a player for the Detroit Red Wings. He scores one on Carey Price through the 5-hole. Bit of a scramble in front of the net, and it does beat Carey Price. This Athanasiou is going to be a great offensive talent for the Detroit Red Wings for many years. The speed he has, the skill he has. He had another great play in the third where he dangled around a couple guys and almost scored. If he would have scored it, we would have been seeing that on highlight reel packages for a long time. Great player, Andreas Athanasiou. But later in the third period, after some heroics from Carey Price, the save on the breakaway from Tyler Bertuzzi, how he almost bit on Bertuzzi's move there, but managed to go into the splits and make that toe save, and how he even got that second one going Dominic Hasek style, protecting that goal line, protecting everything down low, and keeping those rebounds out of the net. That was unbelievable. Hats off to the guy. I had literally goosebumps watching him do that. We end up going on, and Domi ends up with the empty netter thanks to a very slick play from Jordan Weal. And speaking of Jordan Weal, he looks great in a Montreal Canadiens jersey. Not only the speed, not only his ability to win faceoffs, but he's got a shot. He rang one off the post earlier in the third period as well. I did not realize he had that quick and hard of a shot. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Very impressive shot from him. Weber also picks up an assist on that, and that was Max Domi's 24th goal and his first empty netter of the season after all the slack and bullshit we saw circulating that, oh, Max Domi only had 9 goals last year and 5 of them were empty netters, blah, 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 blah. Do people not realize the kid scored, what, 15 in his rookie season as a 19 or 20-year-old? That scoring touch just doesn't disappear. Now, I'm certainly surprised at the amount of goals he's gotten this year, but I'm not surprised that he has reached it, really, because he eventually was going to get that scoring touch back, especially because he's such a lethal playmaker, and that opens up shooting lanes for a guy like him. Fantastic season for Max Domi. Can't say it enough. And I love that he is in the middle of all of these scrums, agitating players. And the thing is, he can back up his words. And I think many guys around the league know that. Whether it's the name that he has on the back of his jersey, giving him that reputation, or the fact that we've seen him really mess up some guys around the league. I don't think too many players want to get into it with Max Domi. I still can't believe he's on our roster. Love that guy. Now, Carey Price picks up his 315th career win in a Montreal Canadiens jersey, and he passes Jacques Plante for all-time wins in Canadiens franchise history. I feel thankful and fortunate that I can exist in a time and space to be able to see this record get broken. A record that will likely not be touched in our lifetime. You and I and many other people are likely to be dead and gone before this record ever gets touched. Price has another 7 years to pad this wins record, and he surely will. In his entire tenure with Montreal, he's handled the pressure, the criticism, some ups and downs. He's handled it all in stride, and that's why he is where he is today. And to see him get emotional and try to hold back the emotion at the end of the game in his post-game interviews was something special. You could tell this moment meant so much to him, and it also meant so much to his teammates. So congratulations, Carey Price, our all-time winningest goaltender. Woo! Yeah! It was inevitable he was going to beat the record, but the fact that he finally did it and the time is here, something special. Be sure to check out my video where I go into a bit more detail and give a true, genuine reaction of my thoughts on Carey Price breaking this record. It's something you're not going to want to miss. I encourage you to check it out. Some really genuine reaction from me in that video. So more things to touch on here. Shea Weber, lots of talk that he might not be playing at 100%, and at the end of the day, not many hockey players at this time of year are playing at 100%, and despite Shea Weber being an absolute beast, that doesn't discount him from not dealing with some ailments here and there. But the thing with Shea, he is going to play through any type of ailment that he possibly can to help this team win, and he is doing just that right now. There definitely something kind of going on, maybe lower body, some issues with quick movements here and there, but at the end of the day, he's such a smart player. He is able to adapt, and he is still playing some top quality defensive hockey. He's still finding those shooting lanes. He's still blasting pucks on net and having an impact for this team night in and night out, playing a ton of minutes. Nothing to be worried about here. Let's just enjoy the moment and enjoy the rest of the season. Same thing goes for Mr. Jonathan Drouin. He's on a scoring slump right now, but let's keep in mind, he's improved on his point totals last season. He's on pace for a career high. At one point, he was on pace for 60 points. That's kind of dropped off a little bit. He likely will finish somewhere in the 50s, barring some sort of scoring streak that he may go on here. You never know. But let's not forget, he clearly has that high-end offensive talent. We've seen it. We've seen games where he looks absolutely dominant, and he is definitely putting in that work. The coaches back that up. His teammates back that up, and it's only a matter of time before he truly breaks out. But the fact that he is improving on his point totals last season is a huge plus, and in the end, this season will be looked back on as a success for Jonathan Drouin. Maybe not his breakout season yet, but he still has time to get there before anybody should be worried in the least bit. You know, I completely understand fans wanting to critique him and criticize him. You're all welcome to do that, as am I, as it's totally deserved. That's what this market is all about, the passion that us fans have. But at the end of the day, we're seeing good things from him, and more good things are to come. Not only from him, but many of our young players. Development takes time. We have to have a respect for the development process, not just with Jonathan Drouin, but with many of our young players. We got to remember, it's such a young team, but this has been a fantastic season for many of our guys who are so many of them are they're not even in their prime yet. Some are even a few years away from their prime, but when they get there, it's going to be nasty. So yeah, since I did a full reaction video, lots has happened. So I'll do a quick, really quick summary. We beat the Rangers as we should have. We lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins on that hockey night in Canada. That was a rough one, especially the start there. To see the team come out and get scored on, boom, 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 just like that. You almost kind of knew the game was done at that point. But I really liked how the Habs responded and played with a ton of energy for the rest of that game. Hit some posts, generated some serious scoring chances. Matt Murray played a fantastic game, and the Habs made him have to play a fantastic game for them to earn that win. That would have been a huge win for us. Now the Pens are 4 points ahead of us in the standings, I believe, or maybe 2. But the playoff race is still tight. Then we go on the California road trip, and we beat LA. I actually did a live stream of that entire game in LA starting at 11:30. It was kind of a moment for me to test out doing a live stream for a game, just getting genuine reactions, sitting with you guys, answering questions as we go along. We had some fun in the intermissions, and overall I think it was a success. I think I'm going to do some more of them in the future. Specifically, I'm looking at that last game of the season against the Leafs to sit down, do a live stream, invite everybody in, Habs fans mostly, because that's who this channel is for. Leafs fans are welcome as well, but if they're going to come in and talk shit, be ready to deal with the fire from us. Seriously, because we will bring it. So after the LA game, which the Habs played very well, picked up the win, we go into San Jose. Antti Niemi gets the start and lets in some weak ones initially, and extended his struggles and his poor performance streak there. And outside of that, the Habs played very well. And towards the end of the game, Niemi got better, but his start and his inconsistently lately, I think, has worn on the coaches. And I said after that game that I really thought that this may be Antti Niemi's last start for the Montreal Canadiens. I was expecting Charlie Lindgren to be called up, and figured he'd get somewhere between 2 to 3 starts towards the end of the season. Because you know what? At this point, you can't really trust Antti Niemi to get you a win, so you really got to try what else you have in the cupboard. And Lindgren has had past success in the NHL, so I'm really looking forward to see what he can do behind an NHL defense, because he did end up getting called up just a couple days ago. So that's a positive. I'm really looking forward to see him get in behind the net. Now, I just have to say right quick, I'm happy for Antti Niemi that he did manage to have a good period of time where he played very well for the Habs. Before he came to us, it was looking like his NHL career was over. He managed to put up some good numbers for us and have some very solid performances for us. I hope he can get his game back on track, and I respect what he brought for us. He did definitely get us some important points earlier on in the season, and of course that 52 save performance was very special to watch. After that San Jose game, we lost to the Anaheim Ducks, and that one was freaking brutal. Now, after the game, Claude Julien came out and said something like the road trip schedule caught up to them a little bit, and I know some people were probably looking for the coach to kind of ream into his players at that point and be a little harder on them than kind of making excuses, if you will, because maybe that is an excuse. But at the end of the day, the last thing a team needs, where the Habs are in their state of this reset and also in the state of this playoff run, is to be absolutely reamed out by their coach to the media after a brutal loss at the end of a road trip. It wouldn't have been a good coaching decision, so I respect what Claude Julien did there, finding reasons as to why they struggled in that last game. At the end of the day, they knew they had to be better coming back home. And the thing is, that first game at home after a long road trip is typically hard as well. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. We were matched up against the Detroit Red Wings, and maybe that's why the game ended up being tighter than it should have been. But I'm expecting a solid performance from the Habs against the New York Islanders on Thursday. They've been playing some fantastic hockey under Barry Trotz and without John Tavares. So they are going to be a tough team to beat. But the thing is, the Habs desperately need those points. Now, quick summary of stats in this Detroit Red Wings game. Montreal outshoots the Detroit Red Wings 36-21. Carey Price gets 20 saves, in his 315th career win. Montreal dominates the face-off dot, 59-49, 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. The penalty kill continues to be a strength for this team. They're average in terms of total league-wide success, somewhere around that 15 to 17 mark in terms of penalty kill percentage. But the power play, again, 0 for 2. Still having trouble finishing, but I do have to say, it seems like there is more of an onus or more of a commitment to making quick decisions with the puck in the offensive zone on the power play. It seems like guys are getting that puck off their stick within a second or two. You don't see many guys holding on to it, and it's resulted in plenty of scoring chances. So in the last week or two, at first, some mistakes were being made because of these quick decisions, but they seem to be getting more comfortable with this style of power play. Now, gotta be honest, what we've seen so far for all of this season with the power play has been very bad. So it's likely that the power play is what it is at this point, but I would still like to be optimistic. The sample size has been large and it's been bad, so you kind of almost expect it to continue to be that way. But I still want to be optimistic and hope that if this team can squeak into the playoffs, that they can get this power play going and it can really help them out. Not only if they make the playoffs, but they're going to need it, most likely, to even get there on this tight playoff run. So I like how they're moving the puck quickly. Keep an eye on that because it's generated some scoring chances so far, and hopefully it will continue to do that, and hopefully they can finish some plays on the power play. That's about it, guys. Let me know what you thought about the Detroit Red Wings game in the comment section. Get in on the discussion. Ask some questions. I'll try to answer some in the next video. And of course, if you like my content and my videos, please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at ScotianCanadien. Cheers, guys. Go Habs, go, baby. Carry, carry, carry.